Good morning, everyone, or afternoon or evening, wherever it is when you're watching this. My name is Cohh, and I'm here with another round of E3 conference coverage. We're going to be moving through all the conferences one by one, except EA, because there wasn't really a lot there for me. And we're going to go down game by game, and I'm going to give a brief synopsis on what I'm thinking about it. A quick note that these are not by any means in-depth reviews. These are just quick thoughts on different things that I saw at the conferences, quick opinions, anything I noticed about them, things of that nature. So hope you will join us as we go in. And again, if Microsoft isn't your thing, keep your eye on the playlist. We should have a playlist eventually for each conference, and you can kind of go in there and find the games that you are looking for. So awesome. Let's get started. So first of all, we had the Microsoft conference, and they started with a trailer from the Outer Worlds. Outer Worlds is looking great. It's basically New Vegas in space, which is everything I know that many of us are wanting. It has a sci-fi atmosphere. It looks to be a little bit more linear than New Vegas, but honestly, as long as the semi-open world is fun and interesting to explore with lots of side content, I think that should be okay. The Outer Worlds graphics are looking good, although some of the animations and stuff are looking like they're out of New Vegas, so I'm hoping that's going to be addressed and cleaned up before release. But from everything we've seen from it, it's looking pretty good, and we are looking forward to not only seeing more gameplay, but seeing more fun stuff from this as we move forward. So very, very fun stuff from Outer World. Again, would have liked to see a little bit more, but that's okay. By the way, a lot of the Outer World stuff happened to be after the conference. So if you're looking for more things, look for interviews and little side areas. There was even a 20-minute gameplay demo that wasn't shown at the conference, so something to check out. Bleeding Edge. Now, this is an interesting one. This is made by Ninja Theory, which is most well-known right now, I'd say, probably for Senua's Sacrifice, a sleeper hit that landed last year. A very narrative-focused, interesting game delving into mental issues and all sorts of interesting stuff. Now, continuing that tradition of an in-depth, make-you-think narrative, they have now come up with a 4-on-4 Overwatch-looking multiplayer experience. Well, this is an interesting direction to go. So Bleeding Edge is a more cartoony kind of Overwatch style looking 4v4 melee focused multiplayer. It does look a little bit faster than Overwatch, looks a little bit more focused than Overwatch. Looks like the arenas are a little bit smaller, a little bit more like a sports event than it is kind of like a large sprawling map that you run around. It did look interesting. The gameplay looked pretty solid. There was a lot of combos. Looks like there's a lot of variance in the characters, a very interesting aesthetic. However, little thing I'm a bit worried about. Is that I'm not super sure that it's the right time for a game like this. Really dug the how it looked, and I think that if a game like this came out around the time that Overwatch released, it really could be competitive. But I'm a little bit concerned that this type and style of game may be left at the wayside with as many options as there are today. Now, I do love this dev team. I think it looks pretty great. So I do hope that it's going to be something that kind of picks up, but my concern is that it's going to be a game that people are going to play for a few weeks and then kind of go back to their favorite games. So we'll see. I do hope them the best. They are the people that develop some of the Devil May Cry stuff. So, there is going to be a lot of kind of solid, fast-paced gameplay in there. But we'll see. We'll have to see. This is going to be one we're going to keep an eye on. I'll probably even try it on the channel a little bit. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be referencing the community, seeing how you guys like it, seeing if anyone makes it their main game, that kind of thing. Also, a little bit about Bleeding Edge. A big factor in the longevity of this game is going to be how much the devs support it on the back end. Are we going to see tournaments? Are we going to see, long stats, leaderboards, things that really make people want to play long term? It's going to be interesting to see how they approach it. So we'll be keeping an eye on it. Next up, we have, the anticipation is growing, Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Ori is a game that I have not finished myself. Ori is a beautiful game. It has a very moving story, a very emotional beginning. I have not finished it, but now that I know that this one is coming out, I can safely say I believe we'll be doing a playthrough and playing Ori and the Will of the Wisps when it comes out. The game looks really good. It looks very strong. The graphics are beautiful. The music is beautiful. It is a very emotional, heart-tugging game. Not only because of how it looks and plays, but clearly because the devs have put a lot of care into how this game looks. Like JP said during the show, it really looks like a Pixar movie. It does. It's that high quality. So it looks pretty darn good, and definitely looking forward to it. All right. Minecraft Dungeons. This is going to be an interesting one, primarily because Minecraft is one of the biggest games in the world right now, and Minecraft Dungeons is essentially an ARPG take on what Minecraft would look like. This game is going to bring ARPGs into a more mainstream format. It could very much increase the popularity of all ARPGs, a rising tide lifts all boats kind of things, and expose the genre to a lot of people that may not normally know or see it. I'm actually kind of excited for this game, not because I'm really super jazzed on playing it. I'm not a big, large voxel guy. I tend to have this barrier in my mind where if the blocks are the size of my player or close to it, for some reason, I have a really hard time getting into it. Very similar as I had a hard time getting into Minecraft. It's just a personal thing. It has nothing to do about the game, but I will say a quick look at this game showed me that I'm sure Minecraft fans are probably going to love it. Looks like it has some pretty deep mechanics. It has a full inventory system, loot drop, co-op multiplayer. This could be kind of cool. And I probably will be trying it, if nothing else, just to see how it is. So yeah, Minecraft Dungeons, it's going to be a thing. It might be a huge thing. We're going to have to see how it goes. Okay. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Now, this is a game made by Respawn Entertainment. And Respawn is a developer I really like. I'm a big fan of Respawn. I've liked their last projects. However, we were exposed to Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Fallen Order, through a gameplay demo that was shown at the EA conference. It was about a 15-minute demo, and it looked, to be blunt, pretty average. This is the first single-player Star Wars game we've seen in a long time. And in the gameplay demo, we saw some pretty good lightsaber fighting. I'd say it met the bar, maybe even exceeded it a little bit. But the level design, incredibly linear. The enemy design, about as vanilla as it gets. As he moved through the world, he was using force powers in about the most basic way you could imagine. It looked a lot of just meeting the bar. And I didn't really leave feeling like it was going to be something special, which, considering we've waited over a decade for a single-player Star Wars game, and it's being made by Respawn that had a phenomenal single-player experience in Titanfall 2, I think a lot of us were really expecting to be wowed. I think a lot of us were really kind of going, this needs to be something amazing. And unfortunately, it looks like it's just trying to get by. Now, here's the thing. I'm going completely off the gameplay demo we saw, which was about 15 minutes. I have heard, in that demo, by the way, they didn't show skill trees, they didn't show inventory, they didn't show really anything, but kind of this really base gameplay moving through this very linear level. Now, in many interviews since, they have said a couple key things. There is going to be character development. There are going to be skills and skill points that give you a lot of customization over your character. And most importantly, the game is being done in a hub format where you start in an area with lots of branches, and then you can go down those branches to kind of flesh out the story, the game world, and your character. Also important to mention that apparently a lot of those branches will be optional. So even though we're not getting like an open world coder style experience, it may be that we're going to be getting a lot of optional ways to go, a lot of side content to kind of not only flesh out our characters, but also flesh out the game world. It might be cool, but the gameplay demo didn't sell it on me. So that's kind of where we are with Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I know that personally I'm in the wait and see camp. I will be playing the game on release for sure, but yeah, we're going to see where this goes. And again, I do have a certain amount of faith in Respawn. I think they can pull this off. I'm just wanting to see it. I can say that the internet has been kind of set on fire with this Jedi Fallen Order demo. The overall impression is pretty negative. So I kind of hope that Respawn is listening and going, okay, like we need to, like, let's kick this into gear, guys. Let's see what we can do. So we will see. Is the gameplay kind of like Outer Worlds? Not from what we hear. In Outer Worlds is semi-open world. So in Outer Worlds, imagine you move up to a point, you have a large-ish area to explore, you do that area, you then get to a ship or transport that then takes you to a new planet, you then have a large-ish area to explore. Like, Outer Worlds is semi-open world with gates, where what we understand about Jedi Fallen Order is you get to a hub, and then that hub has linear missions in different directions. So, and then you get to another hub, and there's linear missions in different directions. So it's kind of like, they're different styles. I wouldn't call Jedi the Fallen Order semi-open world. I would call it more like mission-based progression with a lot of optional missions. No, not people are saying like Borderlands. Not like Borderlands. Borderlands is a large open world that you can kind of go anywhere and explore whenever you want. From the sounds of it, that's not what Jedi Fallen Order is doing. It is doing more like A to B missions that you kind of get in a hub. So we'll kind of have to see. It's gonna be interesting. And again, we're still kind of getting all this information. We're not exactly sure what the overall picture looks like yet. But trust me, I'm paying close attention to it, and hopefully we'll have more information on that soon. Next up was the Blair Witch game. This came out of nowhere. Now, I was kind of surprised by this. I didn't know what it was for the first half of the trailer. It looks like it's going to be some kind of horror game. Looks very much in the style of Blair Witch. I'm going to check it out. I mean, I'm a big fan of horror games. I love getting scared in ways that I haven't in the past. It looks interesting. The graphics look pretty good. I'm not really sure on the gameplay yet. But again, we'll be keeping a close eye on this one. Looks scary as hell. So I am basically sold on that. Yeah. As JP says, it's a big nope game. Yeah. And I can definitely get behind that. You are breathtaking. Okay, Spiritfarer. Now this. No, oh, so we probably okay. Cyberpunk 2077. This was far and away the hypest, biggest thing that happened at E3 for me. I am a fan and have been a fan since Deus Ex 1. It is a game that shaped the type of not only gamer but person that I am as I moved forward. When I played Deus Ex for the first time, it proved to me that games could give me information and convey emotion and story in a way that no other medium could. Cyberpunk, to me, is Deus Ex 2. This is a game that I've been waiting for 2 decades. Almost, since Deus Ex 1 came out. I was already so excited for everything about this game. It's being made by one of my favorite devs. It's in one of my favorite settings. It's basically, they announced first person only. I mean, that again, all of these just kept getting me more excited. And then at this year's E3, not only do we get Cyberpunk, but we get one of the most genuine, down-to-earth, decent, good vibesy dudes who is not only a part of the project, but as we have since found out, has the second most amount of voice-acted lines in the game, is with you basically the entire time. And it was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. We later found out that one of the reasons we never heard about this is that Keanu Reeves had a code name at CDPR that everyone had to refer him to. So basically, like, he was brought into the project with a code name and nobody even knew who he was for a long time because they only used his code name in the company, which is amazing. Because, like, I still to this day am baffled that they got him this integrated and this far in the project without anyone leaking it. Like one of the bigger reveals I've seen in years, like with someone of his size on a project that's that closely watched. Just incredible. Also, by the way, Johnny Silverhand, the character he plays, is an established Cyberpunk character. He has a lore and background, so he will be playing a role, which is really cool. He's not just some, like a lot of people thought he was just some random side character they're throwing in to get Keanu Reeves in the game. No, he is playing a core component of this game. Is this stuff flat? I feel like this stuff is disappearing and reappearing. I'm not sure what's going on. But anyway, yeah. Also, it is important to mention that it was just a gameplay. It was more of a Keanu reveal. It wasn't even really a gameplay reveal. We did get a little bit of story content in the CGI delivery, but it was really a Keanu reveal, less than a gameplay reveal. However, it is important to mention one of the real reasons I'm excited for this is there's a 45-minute gameplay demo also at E3. Unfortunately, because we're not there, we're not going to see that until Gamescom which is later, I believe, in August. That's when we think they're going to be making that public. That being said, there are many articles out there that literally, like, minute by minute go over everything that's happening in the gameplay demo. I have read most of them, and those are one of the reasons I'm so excited about this game. So even though I have not seen the gameplay, I have pored over details of the gameplay, and it's looking really, really cool. For everyone, that there is some criticism going around on the demo, but I think that overall the stuff from the demo sounds incredible. I can't wait to see it myself, and yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. Again, like, and this is something to mention to people. The reasons that I'm hyped for Cyberpunk aren't generally what a lot of people like. It's not the general hype that a lot of people get. Like, there's reasons I'm hyped for Cyberpunk just about what it is and what type of game it is. I don't even need Cyberpunk to be the best game of the year. I don't need it to be the most incredible product I've ever played. I'm excited because I just want to live in that world. And considering I'm a guy that can love Elix and Two Worlds and you know, all these games that have all these little issues in them, I can tell already that not only do I love the world of Cyberpunk, but it's going to be probably a really great experience anyway. So I don't even care if every single person on the internet was saying the gameplay demo was terrible and they hated it and the gunplay looked janky and everything. Okay. Okay. Like, I don't care at all. Like, I'm still not gonna, I'm not gonna mute my hype at all. Everything I've seen from it looks incredible. And yeah, that's cool. If I'm the only person playing Cyberpunk on Twitch, hey, I'm okay with that too. So, whatever, man. We're good. We're good. All right. Let's move on here. Now, unfortunately, I hate to say it, I don't exactly remember what Spiritfarer is. Hey, by the way, can someone ping Barry to see if we can, like, just make this stay disappeared or something? Like, the flashing is a thing. Appreciate that. Spiritfarer. Oh, excuse me, Spiritfarer. Let me do a quick reminder here. Oh, Spiritfarer. Okay, this game looked interesting. I wasn't a big fan of the art style. It has this kind of this kind of cartoony art style. Looked a little cutesy, but what I did like about it is apparently it is a boat/base construction game with exploration elements, fishing, and like a bunch of other stuff. Now, I know lots of people love the art style, and more power to you if you do. I unfortunately am not one of them. I wish I was, but I was not one of them. But the gameplay actually looked really interesting. So I might check this game out. You know, sometimes I can just put my personal likes aside if the gameplay is good enough. And honestly, this may be one of those games. Yeah, we're really going to have to see how it is, because the gameplay, again, looked pretty solid. So we'll see how that is. We'll see how that goes. Definitely will be checking it out. Battletoads. Okay, Battletoads was definitely nostalgic. They've basically taken the Battletoad games we've loved, and it looks like almost carbon copied them with new kind of updated animations and cartoon graphics over them. I will say, though, that Battletoads did have a lot of body deformation, but it looks like this new game is taking it to a new level. There were definitely parts of the gameplay demo when so much was going on. One second. There was so much going on that I couldn't even tell what was happening on the screen. And there's this other game that's kind of similar to it called Castle Crashers. And that game did not have a lot of deformation, but I still, every so often, when I was playing 4-player co-op, would lose my character on the screen. So I will say that I'm a little concerned they may have gone a little over the top with it. Just too much happening on the screen, and everyone's stringing out like spaghetti people, and we'll have to see. But needless to say, it's more Battletoads. They're thankfully not doing anything crazy with it. It doesn't look like a crazy mobile game. It doesn't look like they're changing everything like, you know, Commander Keen. But it does look like it's a pretty fun revival, and I'm guessing we will most likely be checking that out at some point for sure. All right, Legend of Wright. Legend of Wright. 1 second as I address my stuff here. Legend of Wright. Oh, okay. This was the I I don't know what to think about this game. It looks like it's interesting. It's basically like kind of like this RPG game that you kind of play out of a book. As you can see, you're kind of drawing what's going on. Everything is in this kind of interesting, unique art style. Looks like it could be fun. Not really sure where they're going with it, though. It's definitely the kind of game where I'm going to want to know more info. But it looks super stylized, and if the gameplay is good, it could be kind of a keeper. Yeah, we'll definitely have to see. It does look like it has a lot of very unique things going on with it. So that alone is kind of awesome. And yeah, looks like it could be interesting, and we're going to keep an eye on that project for sure. Okay, so the next part of the Xbox conference was basically a plethora of indie games they're bringing in. Now, I have to say, I am pretty pleased with Microsoft these days. It's becoming increasingly clear that Microsoft realizes that one of the reasons the PS4 is basically the console right now is the library. It doesn't matter how good your system is if there's not a lot of interesting and fun games out for it. Not only has Microsoft spent the last year and a half acquiring new studios, such as Obsidian, such as In Exile, all those types of things. But it is also becoming pretty clear through things like this indie game showcase that they are really trying to get as much as they can onto this system. Factor in the Xbox Game Pass and allowing people to pay, you know, a relatively decent amount of money to get access to hundreds plus titles, including new releases every month. And the fact that they're bringing it to the PC, it's kind of cool. Like, you got to give credit where it's due. These dudes have figured out their issue and are doing what they can to plug the holes. Now, are we going to see this happen this console cycle? Probably not. I have to admit that I do kind of think the Xbox in its current form is getting whooped by Sony with the games library, and I don't know if they're going to be able to make that up. However, we have a new console cycle right around the corner. So there is a chance that what they're doing now and what we're seeing now is them laying the groundwork and foundation to potentially explode back onto the scene with their next console. We will have to see. It's going to be interesting. And yeah, definitely make sure to flip through this. There's almost too many games to go over. I'm not going to go over each one individually, but they do have a lot of interesting titles, especially indie titles, coming into that. Now, real quick, I see some people in chat saying rip Sony. Absolutely not. Even if Microsoft at this point quadrupled their game library, that would probably put them close to on par with Sony. Sony didn't just beat Microsoft this last console cycle. They destroyed Microsoft this last console cycle. It's almost like Microsoft forgot that they had to make games for their box, especially exclusives, which Sony, like it, again, it was almost like Sony was playing a game by itself in terms of exclusives. So again, I'm not saying that Microsoft is going to take over that crown from Sony, but what I am saying is that these are the steps they need to take to become competitive with Sony, which, to put it bluntly, I don't really feel like they were this console cycle. So again, it's not about surpassing Microsoft, it's about catching up to Microsoft. They have ground to cover. So, but again, looks like they're taking those steps to do that. Good luck to them. Oh, you know what? Actually, let me go back to that. We'll talk about this a little bit. The Microsoft Game Pass is really impressive. For those that don't know about this. Yes, catch up to Sony. I'm sorry. Catch up to Sony. The Microsoft Game Pass is pretty impressive. I like what they're doing with this, and I think, again, it's a good step in the right direction. For those who don't know about this, they basically have this system now. I think right now you can get it on PC for $1, which is ridiculous, because it's some kind of like experimental, like first try kind of system. But they are putting seriously heavy titles into this Game Pass. Void Bastards, Metro Exodus. Like, when I heard that, I was like, are you serious? Like, understand this. You can go right now and get Game Pass for $1, and you can play all of Metro Exodus and then cancel your service, and you will have played a $50 nearly new title for $1. And that also includes all the other stuff you can get in Game Pass and the hundreds of games behind it. I think Void Bastards is still also there too. Like, this is kind of crazy. This is them trying. We are watching them try to catch up. So take advantage of this, for the love of God. Like, this is, the value is there. And yeah, it's definitely something people should be looking at. Also, Vampire is on there. Hollow Knight is coming. Hellblade. Like, yeah, it's nuts, man. It's nuts. So anyway, the most important thing I can say, just remember to cancel if you're not using it, because the whole point of systems like this is the people that sign up and then forget they're signed up and they just keep giving Microsoft money. That's what these systems are meant to do. So just keep in mind, make yourself a little note. What I like to tell people is if you are buying one of these systems temporarily, right when you buy it, go into your Gmail and set an alarm for a month from now, reminding yourself to cancel it. It helps. Trust me. So yeah, do that two-piece right there. Some systems allow you to cancel the same day. This one might, I'm not sure, but, yeah, and I don't want to say that without double checking, because that would suck if you paid $1, then canceled it, and then realized that you had to pay full price to get it back, because you already, surpassed your little experience. But yeah, so, okay, people are saying you can cancel right after you buy. Well, there you go. Okay, so small side note though, and again, double check this. I think they mentioned the $1 special was actually multiple months if you stay signed up. So it may be that you want to keep it a few months for like $3 and then cancel. Double check that though. Double check that. Anyway, again, cool system, good step in the right direction, and good luck to them. Flight Simulator. Not really a lot to say about this except that it's gorgeous. Flight Simulator is back, apparently rebooted, by the way. One of the first times in a long time we've gotten a Flight Simulator without a number after it. I think we got up to Flight Simulator 10 or something before this reboot. So I'm not a big Flight Simulator guy myself, but I can say that this game looked gorgeous. Not only is it gorgeous, but Simulator is also well known for being very technically apt. A lot of times their planes are literally photorealistic. The panel and everything in front of you, I think you can put it in a mode where you can basically use like every single instrument. It's pretty awesome. So yeah, Microsoft Flight Simulator for flight fans. I'm sure this made a lot of people very happy. I hope you guys really enjoy it. They're kind of at the top of the game. And another thing to mention, by the way, is this is one of the first flight simulators I saw. And this may be in previous ones, but again, I don't follow this stuff too closely. This is one of the first simulators I saw where flying over a city looked like flying over a city. It was stunning. Every building a different height, all in full 3D. At one point, he flies down and flies up, and it's not like some crazy LOD experience where a Picasso painting becomes a Monet. Like, it really looked good. So yeah, flight fans, this is one you're going to want to check out for sure. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Oh, the current version is Flight Simulator 10. So this is the reboot. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah. Was it breathtaking? No, only Keanu was. Yeah. Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition. Dude, it's Age of Empires 2. Awesome. Love that they're bringing it back. Love that they're not making it some mobile crap. Like, it's kind of crazy because I'm getting more and more respect for companies that bring IP back in their true form. And that don't bring it back as some, like, mobile, let's get as many cash grabby elements as we can. Like, it looked good. It looked like it was running well. It looked like Age of Empires 2. Like, I'm sure the old fans will love it. I wish this happened to more games. And yeah, good luck to them. I hope it works out well. Wasteland 3. Now, this is an interesting one. So first of all, this is made by XCLOUD, one of my favorite game dev companies. I love most of their products, including their most recent Bard's Tale 4. The trailer really threw me off. Like really threw me off. When I watched the Wasteland 3 trailer, I saw a lot of things in it that I liked, but I felt like I was looking at it through the lens of Rage 2. I felt like it was comically over the top. There was like fair music in the background. I felt like, don't get me wrong, I know the Wasteland franchise is kind of a dark humor event, but I felt like that trailer was an attempt at like straight comedy. I felt like they were trying to get us to laugh. And that's not something that I'm really used to from that. The gameplay elements also looked super gibby. So like it kept showing like big things launch and a bunch of guys explode and stuff. And that stuff's kind of cool, but again, like Wasteland has always been about this kind of darker element, the underside of human nature in a post-apocalyptic world. And I didn't really kind of get that from the trailer. So interestingly enough, a lot of people shared my concern. I actually tweeted out like, kind of like, oh, that was a thing. And later learned that pretty much what we saw in the trailer is not really what they're going for in the game. In fact, I had a small talk with Brian Fargo. He showed me some of the concept art for the new villains. It's a lot more brutal and dark than that trailer makes it look. And as I was told, he said basically if you enjoyed the setting of like the Wasteland 2, that's kind of what they're carrying into Wasteland 3. So although the trailer I think was meant to kind of like grab as many eyes as it can, I think they were trying to make the trailer kind of a mainstreamish trailer, because let's be blunt, CRPGs these days are not the most mainstream, although Baldur's Gate 3 may bring that back. It does look like that the game itself is more fundamentally what we're expecting from this kind of thing. And also Brian Fargo's awesome. I trust that dude. I think that he's going to make a good Wasteland 3. Also, it's important to mention that they have a backing system on this program called Fig, and they put out constant updates all the time. And if you look at those updates, it's pretty clear the trailer we saw is definitely a little bit different from the direction. So although the trailer was a little bit concerning for people like me, I think that it looks like it's okay. It looks like it's going the right direction. We are definitely going to be doing a Wasteland 2 full run before 3, and then most likely attempting 100% of 3. So should be fun. And really for me, for Wasteland 3, I'm looking for more info. I'm looking for a little bit more of a serious trailer that kind of shows people like me what they're looking for from Wasteland 3, and honestly more gameplay. Really interested in seeing the gameplay and everything. So should be good. Psychonauts 2. Psychonauts 1 is an iconically weird game. It is a very fun jaunt through a lot of very interesting situations. The level design was fantastic. The gameplay was completely unique for a third-person adventure game. It was a really cool game. So to have Psychonauts 2 coming out, especially with some of the same people involved with it, this is going to be awesome. And I am ready for not only Psychonauts 2, but I think we're going to have to play Psychonauts 1 again, because, again, it has some of the most uniqueness in gaming in this franchise. Like, just some of the levels are so strange. Some of the stuff you do is so weird. It's like, it's really hard to compare the Psychonauts franchise to anything else just because of how unique it is. So just for that fact alone, I'm excited to play these games. And yeah, can't wait for Psychonauts 2, man. That one's going to be good. That one's going to be good. Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. This was the Lego one, right? The Skywalker Saga. Yes, this is the Star Wars Legos one. I've never played a Legos game. Never have. I played with Legos religiously. I was in the Church of Lego growing up. I did love them, but I've never played a Lego game. I've also never seen the Star Wars movies after Episode 1. I think I might play this game. I think that the Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga may be my first experience into the Star Wars universe before seeing the actual movies that this game is based on. Honestly, I'll be blunt. Games deliver this stuff to me better than movies. Like I tell people, I'd always rather play my movie than watch it. So you know what? That's exactly what I might do. So we will see. The gameplay looked fun. It had that certain amount of Lego self-awareness, and those certain amount of little quips and stuff. It looked like it was going to be cool. So not only may I try this Lego game, but we may see where it kind of leads to. Maybe I'll try more Lego games if I like it. We'll see. I've heard nothing but good things about them. But anyway, it was a Lego Star Wars game. If you know what a Lego game is, you know what you're probably getting into with that. And looks like it will be interesting. For sure. Dragon Ball Kakarot. Now, this one was kind of interesting. This looks to be a more story mode-ish version of some previous Dragon Ball games that have come out in the fighting arena. It didn't look like it was doing anything too revolutionary. It didn't look like it was trying to reinvent their already established kind of 3D fighting wheel. It does look like it follows a story much more. So I think that one's going to be really interesting for Dragon Ball Z fans, because the other games kind of had their own thing going on with lots of characters. This looks to be a much more focused experience on Goku and kind of the first couple arcs maybe of the Dragon Ball franchise. So could be interesting. I think Dragon Ball Z fans are going to have a lot of fun. This one also looks to be a little bit more RPG-ish, since you have this more focus on this small group of characters. Could be fun as well. And yeah, we're going to be looking into it potentially, and I'm very much looking forward to see what fans of Dragon Balls are going to think about this game. Should be good. Looked fun. Yeah, for sure. Who doesn't know the story at this point? True, very true. I mean, I think every Dragon Ball Z fan or Dragon Ball fan in general has probably heard the KAKAROT story 50 times by now, especially if you were like me and grew up with Toonami. But yeah, I still sometimes it's fun to hear a classic retold in different ways. I mean, when you think about it, it's kind of crazy how many movies these days actually follow stories that have been told 1,000 times over the course of history. I mean, there's entire movies today that you will watch beginning to end and not even realize that it's basically just a Shakespeare story that's been told literally 10,000 plus times over the course of history, and you just watched it again in a full-fledged movie format. So, you know, sometimes just good stories are good stories. There's a reason that there's cliches out there. Why do we have cliches? Because the story's good enough to keep telling over and over. So anyway, there you go. 12 minutes. This game caught me by surprise. So basically when this game started, I was like, oh, look, it's Groundhog Day. And then about 5 seconds later, I was like, oh God, this is not Groundhog Day. Basically 12 minutes takes place in a house, a small apartment from the looks of it. Now, we didn't get to see too much of it, and from what I think, we only saw like some, I don't want to call them cinematics, but we saw like guided gameplay. In fact, I don't think we saw any gameplay. We just kind of saw like the cutscenes in the game, I think, because I'm not even sure what the gameplay is like. But basically, in this game, your character is in some kind of time loop. Your wife was involved in a murder, and a man is coming to your house to beat you up, I think. And apparently part of this time loop is not only figuring out what's going on, but figuring out maybe how to prevent it or how to stop it or some way to intervene. Oh God, I sneezed. I'm so confused. But yeah, it looks very interesting. It looks like there's a lot of variability in what can happen. It looks like there's a lot to uncover and discover through some of the dialogue we heard in the gameplay demo. It's gonna be a thing. And I'm looking forward to checking it out because it definitely piqued my interest. It is, yeah, looks like it's going to be a keeper for sure. Way to the Woods. Way to the Woods. Let's do a quick look here. Oh, the deer game. Okay, so Way to the Woods is, I didn't really know what to think about this one. It's an indie game where you basically play a deer leading around another, like probably your progeny, your child, and it looks like it's kind of through this dystopian atmosphere. Maybe humanity has already been destroyed in some way or another. It looks like it's going to be interesting, but I gotta admit, like the gameplay looked a little bit light. It looked kind of, I would say, walking simulator, galloping simulator. It looked like it was a little light on the gameplay elements and a little bit more in the exploration elements, which again could be really cool. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more about this game, kind of seeing the direction they want to go with it, and yeah, we'll most likely be checking it out because it looks unique, if nothing else. It looks unique, so yeah, it could be fun. It's also an indie game, so you know we'll kind of see where that goes. Next up is Gears of War 5 Bound by Blood. Now there was not a lot here. To put it blunt, there was not a lot here. Basically, all we saw for Gears of War 5 was a cinematic of a woman's face clearly being pulled in different directions via things that she's been told about, or maybe some kind of game element that I don't know because I haven't played Gears of War since 1. So, not really sure what's going on with it. I did wish that they would have shown some more gameplay. They did show Gears gameplay, but it was like of some offshoot horde zombie mode thing. It wasn't of anything about Gears 5 from what I understand. However, it is Gears of War. I've heard good things about the game itself. There is a chance that maybe we'll do like a super quick, easy difficulty Gears of War franchise playthrough to just catch up with the story and then maybe give it a try. Really not sure what we're going to do with it. I'm not quite sure if the story is good enough to work through 4 games. I need to kind of talk to some Gears of War aficionados and see how they go. But we'll see. We'll see. It again really didn't get a lot about this title. Just a quick cinematic, and that's well kind of all we got. Yeah. The new Elite controller. Again, not a lot to say about this one. It looked like they were making some good improvements. It's still super expensive, so just keep that in mind. I don't know how good the warranty is. I'm sure that's probably a factor. But yeah, it's the Elite controller. They're making some good enhancements to it from the looks of it. If you're interested in checking it out, I would recommend watching the E3 coverage of it. They actually go over like what they're changing in the controller. But again, it's like a $170 controller. So that's the thing. $180. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. This is another game that I'm extremely hyped for, Dying Light 2. Again, we didn't get to see too much of Dying Light 2. Honestly, at the whole conference, kind of similar to Outer Worlds, Dying Light 2 seemed to keep most of its hype out of the conferences and do them more in kind of interviews and stuff to the side. We got more gameplay of Dying Light 2 outside of the conference, and we got a lot of good info about Dying Light 2, but not too much actual meat outside of that gameplay stuff. That being said, I don't know how much more they really want to talk about Dying Light 2. They have said a pretty good amount over the last few months. And I don't know how much they really want to save, because apparently the game is very twisty-turny. You have the human element during the day. You have the zombie element during the night. So it's going to be really interesting. Also, of course, Chris Avellone is working on the project. He, as most folks know, is very well known for complex, interesting narratives that tend to loop back on themselves. Like he's one of those writers where when you play through his content, 90% of the time you can expect a really good experience that generally delivers something very cool to you, be it a message or a twist or something. You can generally count on Chris Avellone delivering quality content to you. So having him and being involved on the project, I am really looking forward to seeing what he has in store. And Dying Light 2 is actually really close to the top of my list at being one of my most hyped products right now. Also, to put it bluntly, I am really excited to play through Dying Light 1 again, because I love that game. We're going to be doing a full Dying Light 1 playthrough with the DLC before Dying Light 2, and then doing a 100% run of a single run in Dying Light 2, so it's going to be fun. Hope to see you there for it, and yeah, very excited. Let's see what we got next. See, this is another one that I think some people are really excited about, but I'm not really a racing guy. So, new Forza, I mean, looks good. The Lego aspect looked like a fun tie-in. Again, not too much to say here because it's not really angled towards me. But I do think that a lot of Forza fans will have a lot of fun with it, and I wish you guys the best. No, yeah, I never pronounced that properly. It's I think it's Forza, right? You kind of say for and then put like almost a little T sound in front of the ZA, Forza. Like that's how I've always said it, and I've been told that's right. Oh yeah. Oh, I know there was a typo in the title. Yeah. But a lot of people tell me it's Forza. Like you do like that lazy Z, like Forza. So I don't play it, so I have no idea. I thought it was Italian, in which case you add that kind of like extra syllable in front of the Z, Forza. Like pizza. But yeah, anyway, who knows? Gears Pop. It's a Gears War mobile game. Have fun. State of Decay 2 Heartlands. Let's hope it's a really well-made game. It's more State of Decay. Phantasy Star Online 2. Now, this is interesting. I grew up with Phantasy Star. And kind of the Dreamcast versions of those. I always thought it was a lot of fun and had a great time with it. So when I saw Phantasy Star Online 2, especially the fact that it was free to play, I got kind of excited. I was like, oh, cool. You know, I can kind of relive some of my childhood nostalgia. It'll be fun. Unfortunately, I have heard that over the years, some pay-to-win elements have made its way into the game. I've heard that it's not quite your mama's Phantasy Star Online anymore. So I'm not entirely sure about how I feel about it right now. I will say that I'll be looking into it. But I have to say that for me, the big P2W thing is kind of an instant out in most cases. Also, it's not launching in EU. Oh, that sucks. That's really too bad. But yeah, it's... okay, so some people in chat are saying it's not pay to win. That's good to hear. That's weird. I wonder why I heard it was. Okay, well, Anyway, point is, I'll probably take a look at it, but because my expectations have been very tempered, I'm not really looking forward to, like falling in love with anything or of it. But that being said, we may check it out. I mean, it's going to be free to play from what I understand. That really sucks that it's not going to be in the EU. And yeah, we'll see what we can do. Oh, it's pay for style? I don't really mind pay for cosmetics and stuff. That's never been an issue with me. I wonder why... okay, well, I will look into that a little bit more. But anyway, appreciate the feedback on that. Thank you. Crossfire X. I remember making Crossfire jokes during this, but I don't remember what it was exactly. Crossfire X was the... Oh, okay. This was strange. So apparently Crossfire is a Taiwanese Counter-Strike style game, which I was like, okay, that's weird. And then they show this trailer, which is like some kind of crazy futuristic espionage type of thing going on. Oh, Korean. Yeah, it's South Korean. I'm not sure where it is. It takes place in Asia. Okay. But anyway, Asia. But anyway, it's the kind of thing where it looks like when we were first watching it, we were very confused because we thought it was a trailer for the Crossfire CS game mode kind of thing. However, it later turns out that it looks like this trailer is for a single player version or some kind of story-based version in the Crossfire universe being made by another company. It's really hard when you see zero gameplay. It's probably a racing game. We have no idea. Single player version. I'm sorry. No, not single player version. That's for a different video for my subs later. Anyway, the game looks a little bit interesting in terms of like the aesthetic and what's going on. But again, we saw no gameplay. We know nothing about this. So I'm going to hold my hype until we have some idea what that thing's going to be. There's also been rumors that it's just a little thing that was designed to announce that Crossfire is coming to the Xbox. No idea. I don't know. I guess we'll see when we get more information. Unfortunately, that's what happens when you don't show like any gameplay about your product. Trial of Arise. Trials of Arise. Wow, I Google it and I got nothing. Oh, Tales. Well, that would probably be why. Hi, buddy. How are you, man? Tales of Arise. That's probably would help if I put the right name in there. I am getting a dog and a small kid in here. Hey, little guy. Where did Daddy's cup go? Daddy's still drinking his coffee. That's right. Is it Trials? Tales? Tales of Arise? Okay. Oh, that's right. It's a new Tales game. Of course. See, I don't play the Tales games. So, for me, that wasn't like an instant, oh, that's what it is. Yeah, I've never actually played a Tales game. However, after watching the Tales of Arise trailer, I have to say, it actually looked pretty cool. This is one of the first time I watched a Tales trailer and actually said like, oh, I might be able to get behind this. It looked like the world was a little bit less cutesy, a little bit more kind of anime. Well, I guess cutesy and anime aren't necessarily, but you know what I mean. It looks a little bit more, I don't want to say adult, but you guys know what I'm talking about, right? It looked a little less cutesy. I'm not really into like the super cutesy games. This one was still anime, but not nearly as cutesy. So it looked really cool. I liked the aesthetic. I liked what I saw. And like I said during the show, this might be my first Tales game. It may be a good time to drop into the culture. So and see what that whole kind of thing is like, because I've heard nothing but good things about the Tales games. People have many times tried to get me to play them. So yeah, maybe we'll check it out and see how it looks. I thought it looked pretty good. Can't wait to see more about it. Borderlands 3. I feel like this has been talked to death. I mean, it's 90% Borderlands. It's 10% some new classes, new locations, and enemies. It's going to play like Borderlands with some new stuff. And I mean, I'm looking forward to playing it. We're going to be starting our Borderlands franchise playthrough, most likely close to after we finish The Surge, or maybe after we finish Judgment. We will be seeing that. But yeah, I think it's more Borderlands. I think Borderlands fans are really excited because of that exact reason. It's more Borderlands. They did just recently release a free, I think, DLC that connects Borderlands 2 to 3. I'm looking forward to moving through that as we do our franchise playthrough. And yeah, there's really not a lot to say about this one. It's Borderlands 3. It's more Borderlands. Let's do it. Okay. Elden Ring. Now, during the show, when I saw this trailer, I was a little bit confused. I really didn't know what I was watching. It felt very Kojima-esque. Kojima-ish, if you will. Where it was just showing a whole lot of, like, random interesting imagery and then just kind of squashing it all together. I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't really know what it was. But I did know that it looked pretty cool. But I did leave that trailer going like, okay, I guess we're going to wait 6 months until we, figure out what this game is. It's a board game, by the way. Interesting little fact. They announced that it's a board game. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, but here's the thing. After the announcement and everything, they kind of took to Twitter and they said some very key things about what it was. The first tweet that was released essentially said, combat in Eden Ring is more Dark Souls than Sekiro. Now that sentence right there tells us about 75% about what this game is going to be. Like that one sentence answers many different questions. The second thing they announced, there's actually 3 things total. The second thing they announced is that this is going to be from Software's largest world ever created. Okay. We're 2 for 2. This is sounding pretty cool. So that's also very interesting. The third tweet gets a little bit more confusing. And this one was put in, I think it was in an interview with one of the folks. And this one definitely kind of made me turn my head a little bit like, okay. So let me see if I can find my response to it real quick. Because I want to make sure I get the tweet right here. Basically, it said... Let me see. Oh, Lord. I tweeted out so much during this show that, like, I don't even remember what's what anymore. Okay, here we go. Elden Ring is just as tough as Dark Souls, apparently, but combat is fundamentally different. Okay. So we know from fact 1 that it's more Dark Souls than Sekiro. But now we also have a quote from the devs saying it's just as tough as Dark Souls, but that it's fundamentally different. So that has raised some interesting questions about the game. And that also takes us back to 1 and goes, okay, was the Dark Souls Sekiro comparison just difficulty? Like it's brought up a lot of, it's brought up some interesting questions about the game. So here's the thing though, needless to say, I'm excited. We know it's going to be some kind of action adventure game. We know it's going to be in the largest world from Software. We know R.R. Martin is involved, and From Software makes beautiful worlds anyway. So you put all those ingredients in the pie, and you know that pie is going to taste good. You may not know what flavor it is, but you know it's going to taste good. So that's essentially where we are with this. It's a lot of really good ingredients, but we don't know what the dish is yet. That's kind of where we are. So Eden Ring, I'm excited. I can't wait to see some actual gameplay. The trailer made it look like there's lots of interesting stuff going on. There was even some limb switching, maybe, that was happening. Elden Ring. What I keep calling it Eden Ring. I'm sorry, Elden Ring. And yeah, we'll see what we can do. Koob says, did Cohh finish Ishin? Yes. I actually back-to-back killed Ishin in Sekiro. Oh, bam. It was good. Okay, anyway. Let's keep moving. Project XCLOUD. Don't have a lot to comment on this. A lot of showcases this year at E3 showed off systems or things. Oh my God, have I really spent an hour on just Microsoft? Oh Lord. I just looked at the clock and was like, oh my. Okay, so Project XCLOUD looks kind of interesting. A lot of the different showcases, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say I'm sorry. A lot of the showcases showed off interesting technology pertaining to streaming services or cloud services. This was Microsoft's entry. Again, all of these systems were basically buzzwords this conference. We didn't really get a lot of concrete implementation. We got a lot of lofty buzzwords, things that I feel like are to counter or let people know that these companies are working on Stadia-esque systems. Like, hey, we're not behind. I feel like that's what a lot of this stuff was. I don't even know if we're going to see all these systems make it to the light of day. We'll have to see. But I will say that I am very glad that these companies are coming out with these competitive systems, because I'm hoping that the companies will each put their own innovation in them and eventually lead them to some kind of pinnacle evolution of game streaming as an actual thing. As you guys know, I am very hesitant about Google Stadia. You know, I am 34 years old. I have lived through many Google Stadia type things, and I have watched each of them crumble for various different reasons. So even though Google is a powerhouse and have tons and tons of money, there may be limitations that even that money may not be able to get over. Particularly, you know, like what's going to happen when Stadia absolutely takes off and those servers that are required for good time get completely overwhelmed. Like there's lots of unknowns with systems like these, unknowns that they cannot possibly prepare for, because just like an MMO, you can only prepare your servers so much for launch without actually launching. You can't sometimes make your system so perfect that it's guaranteed going to work, because you can never go to those conditions normally. So it's again, I am cautiously optimistic about these systems coming out. Particularly Google Stadia. But that being said, I want to let all you guys know, I'm going to be checking out, I've already pre-ordered Stadia. I'm going to be checking out all this stuff. I am just about as hesitant as you can get about them. So if there's any issue with this stuff, I will be the first one to tell you. We're going to kind of explore this new frontier of gaming technology together. And I hope you join us as we do, because it could be a revolution in our hobby. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Also, for the record, that project thing, by the way, is not necessarily... actually, that's funny, because I was going to say Project xCloud is not necessarily the streaming component. What that actually is SCARLETT, which is what we're going to next here. The xCloud and SCARLETT systems, from what I understand, are kind of paired together to kind of deliver this experience that they're going for. So we'll kind of see what it is. Project SCARLETT is going to be their actual, I believe, streaming service. Like I think SCARLETT, they announced it was kind of like a console, but at the same time there's streaming involved. So again, this is one of those things where I'm going to want more details. I am not fully versed on this stuff. I do know that SCARLETT is a console. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be like a really powerful console meant to run all the games normally, or if it's going to be like a hybrid console that does streaming and self I guess we call it production. I don't even know. So, okay, people are saying SCARLETT is just the next Xbox. Okay, cool, great. So this Project SCARLETT is the next powerful Xbox. But I do know they also said a lot of stuff about the streaming with it too. So maybe it can do, but we'll have to see. But anyway, Project SCARLETT, very similar to what I was saying earlier and some of the stuff I touched on Game Pass. This stuff is cool, and console evolution is a great thing, but none of this is going to matter if they can't nail that game library. So again, this is one component, but we'll have to see what else Microsoft can bring to make sure that one component turns into something else. Huka91 says, Cohh already forgot about what was talked in the conference. Dude, you have to understand, for the last 4 days, I have been submersed in hundreds and hundreds of games. I have read so many things. I have gotten so much feedback on so many different games and products. My mind is basically just a soup of gaming news and stuff right now. So, and you guys know my memory. So yeah, it's been a rough few days. Let me just say that. Yeah, and I have 2 kids and I've been getting 0 sleep. But hey, what are you going to do? Halo Infinite. I'm not even a big Halo guy. I got goosebumps when I saw Master Chief floating in space. I thought it was pretty great. I'm looking forward to playing the next Halo. Halo has been one of those franchises that's just been around for so long. I don't even know if I played the last one I played was whichever one he was floating in space at. So like, I don't even think I think I've missed some of them. However, they are all apparently coming out in a way that I can play them on the PC. So maybe we'll do a Halo franchise playthrough before Infinite. I'm not sure. But yeah, it was a really cool trailer. Obviously no gameplay, but it was enough of a trailer to get me excited for this game. I'm ready to see where they're going with this. I want to see Master Chief's story continue. I want to see how the hell they're going to come back from this, because we all know they are. And yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Can't wait. overall thoughts on Microsoft. Although none of the conferences as a whole absolutely blew me away, Keanu Reeves, 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 Keanu, Keanu Reeves, Keanu Reeves, Keanu Reeves. I honestly think that Microsoft was probably the best of the bunch this year. I think they had a very strong showing. I think that they tried to put their best foot forward. I think that they made it clear that they're working on their library, which is honestly probably their weakest aspect. They hinted at a new console. They showed us Game Pass. We got some trailers from some great games. The Cyberpunk stuff was amazing. I think that Microsoft probably had the strongest conference at E3 this year. But I do need to mention that I think that that's also because a couple of the other conferences were weaker than normal. For me personally, and we'll go into that with the next conferences. But yeah, I give this conference a 10 out of 10 Keanu Reeves, and I thought it was a very solid conference. The only large amount of criticism I would give to this, and honestly, I would take this criticism to all of the conferences. Maybe a small caveat that I feel like the PC Gamer Conference probably did this the least. But I will say that I don't really like the trend that E3 is taking where they're seemingly prioritizing cinematics over gameplay. It's the kind of thing where when you see gameplay, it's like, oh, hooray, awesome. I don't like that. I don't like that seeing gameplay has become like this, oh, great, like a surprise. I don't like that. I don't like that. I would much prefer that companies kind of step up, and even if it's just 30 seconds, even if it's just a few screenshots, just show us UI, show us what you're working on, show us what we're going to do. Because that, for me, like, I can get excited about cinematics, but I can't get invested until I see gameplay. And, yeah. So that's all. That would be my biggest criticism. And, don't get me wrong, I would rather see a cinematic than nothing. That's important to mention. I definitely would love to see more gameplay from these guys. Yeah, for sure. For sure. So that has been the conference of Microsoft. I hope you have enjoyed this thoughts video. I have other thoughts videos for the other conferences coming up. In fact, if you stay right here, hopefully it's the next one up. I want to thank you for watching, and I hope you join me for next year's E3 as we not only cover all the conferences again, but probably do more videos just like this one. Thanks, guys.